In about 1975, I decided to take a trip back to Texas. My father had called a family meeting because his brother was dying of cancer, his only sibling, and they had to settle the estate. I'm called to work with abandoned and abused children. I have a gift. I know this is my calling. And after I finished, my father said, "I think you're crazy." I came back the next morning and he said, "I've decided, Gary, that I'll give you that 107 acres to start with out of the family land."
Gary, we have a good location here. Our dam is down here where we will be able to impound some water, and this gives us a land where we can build our houses.
And I started talking to the Rotary Club and the Kiwanis Club and the people in town who had seen me as a troubled child, because I was, and doubted me and didn't think I was maybe a good candidate to build something like this, but they saw my commitment. One step at a time, I put on a tool belt because I had little experience. Here came the Home Builders Association and put up the first 3 buildings, all materials donated, labor donated. They rotated their crews, built the community center and the Forbes cabin and the Terry cabin. And all of a sudden, it was an Amish barn raising. It was a healing. I learned to appreciate businessmen and doctors who volunteered their time, and real estate people and the construction workers, because they were giving to something they felt was valuable. And as we finished each project, we never had enough money, but the community was helpful in being sure that volunteers and donated vendors and suppliers, that those buildings got finished. And so as we stood in front of them at dedication, I'll never forget donor of one of the first homes, Ruby Stevens, saying, "This man means business. Y'all get behind him." And my father came to the same conclusion.
Sometimes I've asked myself the question, why did I get involved in such a task? The most appropriate answer I've found was given by the late French philosopher Albert Camus when he said, "We cannot prevent this world from being a world in which children are tortured, but we can reduce the numbers of tortured children. If we will not do this, who will?"
And so we were accepting some pretty difficult kids. We didn't have any salaries here until 1981. We worked 4 years. The first person to get a salary was the secretary, because we had to have her at the phone 8 to 5, right? And so everybody else was volunteering, the first house parents, the first maintenance people. We were working together as a community. We had 65 kids by 1986, and Harris County was our biggest client placer. They had 32 kids here, half of our kids. Harris County called me and said, "We're going to have to send a charter bus and pick up all our kids." And I got the call and I thought, oh my, 32 kids, what are they going to do? That was over a weekend where you had come on that Friday and I didn't know you, had never met you. That Monday morning you had called the office for me and to see if you could be there, because your caseworker said, when you told her I don't want to leave that weekend, she told you, you have to go see this man, Gary Prio. So I knew this new girl was coming in to see me, and I had no idea what you were going to say, but you reached and shook my hand with a firm grip, and you said, "Mr. Prio, my name is Kathy Brockett, and I don't want to leave. I've been told I have to. Let me stay. I will work hard. I will earn my keep. I will behave myself. I'll clean houses, whatever I have to do. But I don't want to leave. This is the first safe place I've been in." I'll never forget the moment. You struck straight into my heart in all my uncertainties and doubts about what we were going to do. And I think you remember I said to you, "You can stay." And I also called all these counties and said, "Forget your charter buses. They can all stay." And I paced the floor at night, Carol can tell you. And I said, "Oh my God, please help us."
And didn't really, didn't know what was next, but I got a strong message to come here. So I called the ranch and they said, "We've just lost 2 house parents, and you know, it's always hard to keep staff in this type of work. It's really hard, but it's so beautiful, but it is emotional." So I came here after I called and asked if I could come for an interview. I drove here from Austin, and when I drove in the front gate, I knew it was my home. I just felt it. I got an opportunity to start teaching art lessons. Some kids, their language is art. To say a prayer for all the children and the young people who made themselves vulnerable enough to create this artwork that we're about to see. Because these are the souls and the lives of these children. They are putting it out there. When someone sees it, they could heal a little bit from their story, and also that the child can get things out that they never could say before until they had the avenue of art. You know, I would go to the houses and work with individual kids. They would come to the library and work with me. But after a while, we actually got funding for a fine arts building, and I became the fine arts director. And that's what I've been doing for many years, and I love that position. I watch for kids on the ranch who that is their avenue of expression. And when I find those kids, I bring them into my advanced art class, and they come during the school day, and they have a space where they can express themselves.
My caseworker, Julie, had brought me to the hill country. She was going to place me in a particular home out here. And we spent about an hour or two out there, and then she said, I'm not leaving you here. And she had her reasons, and she put me here for the weekend because that was on a Friday, and she couldn't take me back to the city just then. So I came and stayed here at the Hill Country Youth Ranch. And of course, I knew the moment that I came through the gates, something's different here. That night, putting my head on the pillow and the breeze coming in, and the bed was at the window level, and it was just such a powerful moment for me. The smells and the feeling and everything, and then realizing that this is a safe place. I'm gonna sleep real good tonight, and I did. And then I got to sleep there another night.
I have a lot of good friends here. I love everybody here. There's just certain special people that you can really talk to, and then, you know, there's others that they're your friends.
I had these sisters now who, I mean, we're the same. And I just had this connection immediately in one weekend. I think it was Sunday that I talked to Julie, and she said she was coming to pick me up. And I was like, no, you don't need to come pick me up. I'm good. This is the spot. And she's like, no, Kathy, you don't understand. You can't stay there. And I was like, no, Julie, you don't understand. I'm not leaving here. And so she encouraged me to schedule a meeting with you, which I did. I shook your hand and I told you, I'll be good. I'll make you proud. I'll work hard. I'll earn my keep. I was fleeing for my life, and then you said yes, I could stay, and I'll never forget that. But I owe all of that to you. Fast forward to 18 years old, in a room of 200 women. That first day of interviewing, I was one of two that got called upstairs to the executive suite. I interview with the executives up there, and then they tell me, well, we're doing this again tomorrow. The ad's already in the paper. We've got, another room full of 200 women coming in. And then I ended up getting the job, which was incredible because I saw how many people were there. I was an hourly secretary reporting to the executive secretary for 1 year, and then after 1 year, I became the executive secretary. I never realized that I would ever achieve making six figures. Never even dawned on me. But I was able to achieve that. And then from there, of course, during all of this, I had my son when I was 24, my daughter when I was 29. I have also since been able to travel abroad to many countries. I've been able to live an amazing life.
Our goal is that we will care for children and families, and the families will be part of the story instead of being excluded as we were excluded from decisions being made in courtrooms without us all being at the table.
The ranch has always been excellent at looking at each individual child and learning them and learning who they are and what makes them tick and what freaks them out, and then working with them with these considerations and understanding.
If your childhood is safe and you can just go out and play and not worry who's going to hurt you, that's a treasure. The more that we can help our children to become whole again, to find those pieces of themselves that are just gone, they don't know where they are, but they can find the pathway back of the person that, God created. And they can find, I love this poem, it's in the gallery. It says, your road is there before you find it, and it will be there until it's found.